Hello, we are Sornia. Thank you for inviting us into your energy fields. We've been sharing much in regards to your personal energy field. We will continue to do that because it's important as you're moving along your human journey to understand as best you can what is occurring and how to manage it. Again, each one of you will have your way, your individual and unique way of approaching your understanding of self. And what we mean by self is self, the human self, but also the eternal self. And that's kind of where we're going to go today. Maybe some repetition here, but it's good to remind you of these things because as we observe the interactions that come to us and what you share with us when you are here with us in your sleep states or meditative states, we gain the information where there's questioning, where there's doubt, and therefore we want to give back to you our insights and our awareness in regards to your current state of affairs, if you will, or state of being. So it's important for you to, again, stay open, stay receptive, be mindful of who you are, be mindful of your own state of being. So getting out of the head, not relying on the mind, and relying on the heart and the other areas of your body that will be opening up. So primarily the heart right now, as the heart being the source of your truth, okay? You're still struggling with fully abandoning yourselves in your human form to that very experience of the heart being your source of truth. So we want to expand on this because those who are hearing these messages, this is where you have been spending a lot of your time in gaining your own understanding, gaining your footing, so to speak. But you want to, there's much more that you will want to be understanding because of that center of energy in your body having been not used, having been blocked for so very long. The information that normally would be handed down from generation to generation through both experience of your elders, or it's down through the genetic codes, basically the DNA in your body, that hasn't been happening. So you see the fact that each existence, so an individual has an existence. You, for example, think of yourselves of your existence, or think of someone else, a parent or someone else, and they have their existence, right? And they have these energy centers, and we've been focusing on the prime ones being the chakras, the 7 chakras. So you have that, and that's been a part of your existence since forever, since the creation of man. This was part of the design to have the 7 chakras and others. There are other chakras, but again, we're going to focus on just the 7 chakras at this point, the main ones. So this has been in the past, prior to the hijacking of your energy systems by forces outside of you. Prior to that, that's how man was able to function on Earth. How do you think that mankind learned about their environment, learned what plants were edible, which ones were for medicine, which ones were poisonous but may have certain beneficial qualities, how to use them, how to extract their medicine? We're just speaking of plants at this point, but how do you think that all occurred, that this was handed down from generation to generation, correct? But how did the initial information come? So your forefathers, way, way, way back, and some of you may have been in the physical form at the time, had the centers, your energy centers were wide open and working in a fluid way, and in particular, you knew to pay attention to not just what the mind was offering to you. In fact, the mind was not even really considered valuable. It was the heart, the solar plexus, well, and then the other chakras, but we're speaking about them now in regards to this. So your communication, your information about what would be beneficial, we're talking about on the planet, like what can you benefit, say, from a certain plant, what is its medicine, and how to extract the medicine from the plant, and when's the best time to do it. I mean, really, those of you who have explored this, it's a very intricate system. You have one single plant, say, take your dandelion, that offers so many different remedies, medicines for humanity. How did your ancestors know that? How did that information then get lost? We know is by the hijacking of your energy centers and more, but that was one of the primary ones. So your forefathers were, because their energy centers were open, and they would rely on the information coming through the heart as being the source of truth, they were able to gain information that was valuable for their survival. And not just their survival, but thriving in an environment here on planet Earth. So having the opportunity to really develop that understanding, your forefathers had that, and they had the communication with the higher realms, the realms from which many of them came from. So it wasn't that feeling that you have now, which seems inconceivable to most of you, that feeling that, well, it's distant, it's far away. My spirit guides, are they there? We were all connected in ways that were more apparent, that were more comfortable for you, were more obvious. And therefore, all of your ability to gain access of information from realms outside of Earth was easy compared to the way it is now. But it was communication. It was just like you communicate with someone now, it was that type of communication with the other realms. So coming back to a simple plant like your dandelion plant, which is pervasive in the whole world if you want to really think about that, right? So that information, how did you get that? Well, it wasn't just by trial and error. Let's try this thing and give it to so-and-so, and if he dies, well, then we know it's poisonous. It didn't work like that. You know that. It's sort of ridiculous to think that people tried things and then if they got sick or died, well, they knew it was poisonous. That's not how it works. What it is that you were guided, you had the information. This was new territory for all of the initial humans here. And there were what you would call indigenous humans here who knew these things. But where did the initial information come from? It came through the heart center, through the connection that you have to the world of spirit, where all that information is lodged. All of it's there. It's stored. You can access it at any time. So what happened over time, this, is that information was hijacked, blocked from you, so much information through the manipulation and blocking of your energy centers. So your energy centers aren't flowing in the way that they need to be flowing. Therefore, you're not getting the communication and the information that you need from us, and you're not able to access that in order to move forward. And that is what we have been talking about with you, so that you understand what great strides you have all made in opening up the heart and the solar plexus chakras, so that you can begin to access higher forms of knowledge, but that pertain to your planet, that just don't pertain to the world of spirit. Oh, how does the world of spirit work? You want to understand the human aspect of your experience. And that's the other element that we want to share with you. The other side of things is that so many of you want to know about the world of spirit and who you are as an eternal being, and we encourage you to do that, but you disregard or have a certain disdain for your experience as a human being, and therefore you tend to either ignore it or get frustrated with your human condition or any number of things. You know what we're talking about, basically. And we're telling you, you have both to master here in terms of understanding who you are, not just as an eternal being, but who you are as an eternal being having a human experience. So why are we bringing this up? We've talked about this with you many times. We're bringing this up because we're seeing this divide start to happen energetically with many of you, in the fact that you're discarding or not relying on your human form to also be a source of information or be part of this experience that you call life on earth, right? So again, not all of you are there, but really what we're saying, go deeper with this. Try to see, do you have disdain or a certain resistance to your experience in human form or being human? Is there something there that leaves you saying, well, I'd rather just be in spirit? You want to look at these things because you're cheating yourself out of ultimately having all the information that you need. And because you have the human form, and it has those energy centers that you are opening up and clearing and allowing for truth to come through all your energy centers, because that's ultimately what's going to happen when all these energy centers have been cleansed by your work that you're doing, is that you will be able to access information that seemed unattainable to you. That's the point. You will feel your connection to all that is. You will be able to know when we are with you. You will be able to understand Source and God, Creator. You'll be able to know it fully and deeply, not with words, but with your essence of who you are, not just as an eternal being, but as a human being. Okay, that's the point. And again, this may seem redundant. It may seem, well, you've talked about this before, but the nuggets of truth here are that we're noticing that some of you are getting exasperated with your experiences in human form and being in human form. And we encourage you to delve into being human much more than refusing the human form and getting frustrated with the human form. You're there to transform this existence. And part of it is understanding fully and completely what it means to be an eternal being in a human experience. And we're not telling you what we're telling you because you're failing. It's anything but that. More progress has been made than you could fully understand right now. We're telling you this because we want you to be aware of those areas that need your attention. So think about some of these things. Think about what we've talked about here today and ask us to elaborate if we have left you somehow in the dark. But ultimately, the point of everything that we are sharing with you today is to help you move along to this higher state of being that is deserving, that you deserve, and you're doing it. So that is all we have for you right now. Things are moving at a wonderful pace. It's slow and steady wins the race, as you say, but know that progress is being made. We love you very, very much, and we are so grateful to all of you, always, always. Everything that you do and how you stay so dedicated is always a pleasure for us. It's more than a pleasure. We feel so connected to you and your devotion, not just to yourselves and your family members, but to all of humanity and every creature and everything living on your planet. It's a beautiful world, and you are freeing it from a lot of its entrapments and a lot of its limitations by your works. So we honor that by continually showing up for you in the ways that we can, because it's so important, not just for you, but for us as well. So thank you always. We are indebted to you as you are to us for what we can share. Go forward and put a smile on your face even when things are difficult. Be that light, be those beacons of light that you are. Okay, I guess that's it. Hopefully you feel a little bit clearer about this information, clearer for what is going on with this information. And that is all. We are Sornia. Goodbye.